The views and opinions expressed on Deliberately Linked are entirely those of the host, who are completely responsible for all show content. These views and opinions are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure in any way any kind of condition, or to promote any specific lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or personal practice. Nor is the information presented deemed to be accurate or verifiable.
What is up, Deliberately Linked viewers? Lace them up and lock it in. Because on today's show, did the coronavirus cancel your plans? Because it sure canceled ours. We are changing things up today. And when I say we, I should say I. Because I got a guest on the show today. Because my partner, my brother, Mark, is on vacation without me. My brother, Mark, is on a cruise right now, soaking up some vitamin D that we have recently just talked about, taking care of that seasonal depression if it exists. He is on a cruise right now, and I bring in a special guest for you guys because from day one we said we will never miss a week because we got the best listeners in the world, so we are going to bring them the best content possible. And by that, and because of that, we can't miss a show. So on today's show, I bring you a very, very special guest, not just to you, but definitely special to you, to myself. And that is the one and only that I have spoke so much of on this show, my wife, Ashley Link. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you, Ashley.
Thank you. I feel like the pressure's on with Mark being out of town.
The pressure is definitely on. Mark, that's some big shoes to fill.
Certainly. Yeah.
Are you feel like I can just see the anxiety.
I know this is kind of stressful. I'm not a talker like Mark is.
You're not. And
so I'll do my best to talk as much as he does, be funny like he is.
Yeah, we're probably both going to fail at that, but that's okay. I'll be honest. If you're feeling some anxiety and some worry, I'm actually feeling some anxiety and worry right this moment as well because, like you said, Mark is a talker, and whenever I just lose my train of thought or I don't know where to go with it, Mark definitely knows where to pick it up. But guys, today's show obviously is already a little bit different for everyone. This is exciting. I'm going to be completely honest with you. We're shooting this on a random day that we never would shoot a podcast. It's actually pushing 10 o'clock at night right now. And the reason Ashley is on the show with us is because she just experienced the craziness that I'm sure a lot of you heard of via news, social media, about the world's largest sporting event canceled.
One of the biggest events in Columbus, Ohio, canceled.
An event that brings in $60 million. An event that businesses all over Columbus base their annual revenue and their salaries based off this sporting event. So, for all of you that maybe have not heard, so the Arnold Classic Sports Festival is a festival that happens in Columbus, Ohio every single year. It has been going on for, I believe, 30 plus years. I could be wrong on my math there. And it's held in Columbus, Ohio, right? Like, why is it held in Columbus, right? Great question. It's held in Columbus because Arnold, I believe, won. It was a impactful show to him. I don't remember exactly what show it was, but it was a big deal. And that's why the Arnold himself and the Arnold committee said, hey, where are we going to have this festival every year that started in the 70s, I believe, or 80s. I don't know exactly when. And they're like, well, Columbus, Ohio. So it's near and dear to his heart. I think us Ohioans, especially us Columbus natives, have taken it for granted for so long, having this sports festival in our backyard. And I think sometimes it's hard. It's easy to forget how big of a deal and how special it is. I mean, you yourself, Ash, you grew up going to it with at least myself.
Well, I went with you all through high school. I competed at the Arnold.
That's a good point. Talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so I cheered competitively all through high school, and I went on to cheer in college as well. But the Arnold was always our favorite competition. It was just one of those where it was so special because, well, first you're competing on a spring floor instead of hard mats. So if you know anything about cheerleading, like that's always a plus. You have like the strobe lights, the stage lights shining on you. You have a great crowd, and then Arnold himself comes every year and speaks to the cheerleaders, and it's just really cool. I feel like cheerleading gets a lot of heat.
For
A lot
sure.
of people don't respect it,
Hmm.
but Arnold comes every year and makes it clear that he respects the sport and he loves to watch
No
it.
doubt.
And
Yeah.
every time we win, we would win jackets, and I have 3 of those from high
Look at
school.
that. That's
So,
awesome. That's really
yeah.
cool. Yeah, Arnold's actually, fun fact, he's really, really good about that. And we were talking about this last night
Mhm.
over some dinner with some friends about how Arnold, he'll go around to every single sporting event going on in the convention center in Columbus, table tennis, fencing, Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
I mean, some of this stuff that truly is just you wouldn't think of it first as a sporting event, or B, something that Arnold could go in there and just show true passion and just love. And truly, I don't believe it's for that particular sport, but it's the individuals that are taking
Mhm.
place in that sport
Yeah.
that just he sees them pouring out their heart and their love and their passion for this, and that's truly, I believe, what Arnold. That's all he cares about.
No, I think you're spot on. I mean, we watched him cheer on American Ninja Warrior, like you
Right.
said, and his whole heart was into cheering those people on. But like you
Yeah.
said, it's more rooting for that person to achieve something, and
Right.
they've put so much work into it. He knows
Yeah.
what goes into competing at that level.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So, guys, kind of going into what this show is going to be about. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual, but don't quote me on that. Maybe I spoke too soon. Um, as many are probably aware, Deliberately Linked is sponsored by Visionary Meals. Once again, Visionary Meals, thank you. We do have an inside connection on that, aka my wife and myself. So, um, and as many of you are aware, Visionary Meals, uh, as we talked about it on Deliberately Linked these past few episodes, was prepping so much and so long for this and highly anticipated event that was going to take place in Ohio, here in Columbus, but not just that, for Visionary Meals.
Hmm.
And as many of you are aware, Visionary Meals had the opportunity to take place of being the official meal prep company for the Arnold
Like
Classic.
what?
It's extremely, I don't know, like it almost leaves me speechless how big of a deal this is for the company. And part of me, is hesitant and want to say how this was for the company, because as you're about to hear, obviously things didn't go our way.
Arnold Classic 2020 certainly was not
It's not what
a
anybody,
thing.
it's not what anybody
No,
expected. So
no.
breaking this down for everyone, and bear with us on this show, guys, because there are some really important takeaways that I think all of us can walk away after this show, and there's many things that I think we can apply to our lives. And it's interesting, I believe, as Ashley and I sit here today, there are things that we're still kind of waiting, like, man, all that work for nothing. Was all that work for nothing? So the Arnold Classic um preparation was, what do you say, 2 months?
At least.
At least 2 months. I would say it was at least 2 months. And so we're prepping for this show. I'm going to paint a picture for all of you really, really quick. We're prepping for this show. I'm talking about food order, inventory order as far as containers, labels, marketing, expenses as far as social media goes. Fill in the blank for
I
me.
mean,
What else am I
legal
missing?
expensive
Legal documentations.
expenses. Yeah, for contracts.
So, fun fact about that, actually, real quick, I'm going to touch on it,
Sure.
is this Levy contract. So, Visionary Meals is recently a subcontractor for Levy Restaurants, which is
Hmm.
a food business here attached to the convention center. And we had the opportunity to partner with Levy Restaurants to basically be injected into this arena for the Arnold Classic.
Hmm.
And so through that relationship building and through those steps, like Ashley said, came many contracts and came many expenses, stuff that none of you need to be bored with.
Yes.
You look like you're about to say something.
No, I was just thinking back to, I mean, some of those documents, like just how overwhelming they were to even understand.
For sure.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that
no, I
was
mean stuff that
definitely
was sent out to
something.
lawyers and everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, so not to bore everyone with everything I guess that took place with this, but just try to imagine the amount of work that a small business would have to do in order to get ready for an event like this. So I said earlier on the show, this event brings close to $60 million of revenue for Columbus, Ohio. And there are roughly 250,000 people at the expo, I think, at one time. And I believe the fact is there's 1 million people that come through the Arnold at one point in time.
Yeah. Yep.
So kind of just wrap your mind around us being a small business, Visionary Meals. And I'm not just going to talk about us as a company. There are a lot of other businesses that took a hit. But as you wrap your mind around all the work that went into this, it was Monday night. No, excuse me. It was Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night, and the lovely coronavirus, as Mark and I joked about a few shows ago, is obviously getting real to a degree. I think. I should say the media is blowing this out of proportion.
Yeah, and I would say even before we even get to Tuesday night, like kind of Tuesday during the day, you start hearing some shaky things about the coronavirus.
I called you on
You
Tuesday
did.
morning. What did I tell you?
You called me and you were like, you won't believe this. And you were like, one of our customers that was coming in from out of state had ordered food through us to have for the weekend at the Arnold, and they ended up wanting to cancel their order because they no longer were going to come to the Arnold because of the coronavirus. And you called me and told me that, and I'm just like, wow. And we talked about it. We were like, well, I bet that there is going to be a slight decline in numbers this year. And I think we might have even been like, I think we even addressed like the topic of it being canceled, and we're like, there's no way that would ever happen.
Right.
This is a huge event. It happens every year. Like
Right.
we were so confident, as I think a lot of other people were, even when you were hearing rumors of things being canceled potentially or postponed, whatever you want to call it. Like,
Yeah.
I think most people were like, no, this is happening.
For sure. I mean, there was rumors of what if they canceled, but I don't think anybody ever believed it.
Well, especially with the timeline. Like, this is Tuesday when these rumors are happening, and competitions for the Arnold, I believe, start Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like, check-ins, I believe, started Wednesday.
Athletes are in town.
Yes.
Starting at least Monday,
And
if not earlier.
businesses are in town.
Businesses are in town.
You
Athletes
stopped
are
by the
definitely-
convention center that day too, didn't you? And you
Tuesday,
said
yeah.
that you saw the inside of it. What did that look like?
Yeah, so Tuesday I stopped into the convention center because I was still finalizing some details on our end, and I'm walking through what would have been the expo area, and there were shipments from all over the United States from companies that shipped their products in of obviously free samples that they would give out. And for those of you that are super unfamiliar, I guess with the Arnold Classic, companies give out free shaker bottles for your protein drinks, give out free pre-workout amino acids, protein powder, just sample packages. So there is thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of just free products that was shipped all over the United States to the Columbus Convention Center. And on top of that, all the marketing material that these companies were going to be using, companies that maybe buy a bigger booth that put on some kind of show at their stand. They have to ship equipment of just more than just product. So we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, and then even the fact that everything was like, for the most part, set up.
Right.
So the convention center had put how many hours?
So when the
that?
convention center gets set up, guys, they literally lay down like this. Honestly, it's kind of really nice red carpet throughout the whole floor of the halls in the expo. And then so I'm talking about every booth was set up. The particular businesses weren't set up yet, but they
the
had
table
table arrangements, et cetera, was
stages,
set up. So I mean, when Ashley said that really what we're alluding to here is the call of action, how late it was. Like this event was basically like everything but taking place.
Yeah.
Everything but taking place. So And back to that phone call, I when I called you
Yeah.
about, hey, I said, what are the chances that us, Visionary Meals, that, to us is a big deal, but in the grand scheme of things, plays such a small role in
Mm-hmm.
the Arnold Classic. What are the chances that us, have a customer
Right.
that cancels because of the coronavirus? And that's when I got scared. That's when I was like, oh
Yeah. A
my
little
gosh,
nervous.
if us as a small business, us having such a minute impact on such a large event, have a direct correlation or a direct contact with someone that says we are not coming because of the coronavirus, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh boy,
Yeah.
shit's about to hit the fan.
Yeah.
And that's when I got nervous.
Right. Yeah. So then I guess flash forward a little bit here on Tuesday. That's when we start getting some texts about like, hey, a press conference is about to take place. A press conference is coming.
That got
You're gonna want to
postponed.
listen
Yeah.
to this. Yeah, because I believe they were supposed to make a statement because someone, I don't know who, but somebody started a petition and it had got, I think it was like 8,900 signatures to
Yeah.
cancel the Arnold Classic this year.
Right.
And I believe it
Columbus,
was a
yeah.
doctor who started this. I'm not completely sure.
Probably, yeah. A bunch of Columbus people.
Yeah. And so then there was supposed to be a press conference for Arnold or the committee or whoever to like address this.
Mhm.
And it got postponed until about 5:30 on Tuesday night.
Yeah, no, yeah, there was, yeah, wow, no climax there. Yeah, it got postponed. So, we like turned on the press conference, guys, right as it was like happening.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we hear Arnold talking about like it literally being canceled, like postponed.
Yeah, he was using words in there like postponed and like unfortunate. And I don't even think it was registering when he was saying it. We're just looking at each other like, wait,
Are we
what?
hearing what we think we're hearing?
What?
We're hearing what we think we're hearing, and we rewind it. We watch it again. We watch it again. We're like, wait a second. Oh my god! Like,
Yeah.
did the Arnold Classic really just get canceled? Like, what is this? Is this even possible?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, my phone just goes bzz, 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 ring,
I don't think it stopped.
ring, ring, bzz, bzz. My food vendor. So I'm guessing you don't want all this product anymore. Like everything, and we're just like, how is this possible? And I should add, it was a really weird time in Ohio. If you looked outside, the sky was like really yellow and just like almost it felt like the world was
Yes.
coming to an end, guys. And
Yes.
I if you weren't attending the Arnold or I guess even a part of it, I don't expect you to be able to understand the feelings and emotions that were going on at that time. But it was so bizarre in the sense that I literally felt like someone just died.
Well, and what I would add to that, like especially I think why like we had that feeling so much more than even let's just say a different business that was associated with the Arnold is last year we were at the Arnold and we were months old as a company
Yeah,
and we had that dream of 5 years from now
that was
we
our
want to be in the Arnold.
5-year plan.
And it's like we have this opportunity in our hands and we're taking it. And it's like mind blowing that as a company at this young stage we're in that we have this opportunity in front of us. It's almost
Right,
surreal.
right.
And we're like so close to having this and then it's just like ripped right out of your hands.
Yeah, yeah. The rug was definitely ripped underneath
Yeah.
our feet, and it was just I couldn't believe it. It was just a feeling of shock. Like, and if anyone's ever lost anybody, like I hate to use that honestly that comparison, but I unfortunately have lost a lot of people, and I know this doesn't definitely compare it to someone dying. I'm not trying to make that comparison in that way,
Yeah.
but more so just the feelings, and I think that's because of all the hours of time and emotion and lack of sleep and just so much poured into this event,
Hmm.
and just to have it taken away just like that. And Mark and I talk about on the show, guys, all the time about controlling what you can control. And I think a lot of it was the lack of control there. It was
Yeah.
this scenario, it was this conclusion of something that there was nothing there was nothing that Josh Link could do. There was nothing that Ashley Link could do.
Right. Well, and I think it's like a feeling how I think as like a parent for their child when something's happening to their child and there's nothing you can do to help. It's like
Right.
the worst feeling.
Right.
And this company is literally your baby.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's just that feeling of like there's nothing
Yeah.
at all that I can do to help.
Yeah, and it's scary because you start thinking about later on all the effects that go into this.
Yes.
And I think of our team. I think of especially our chefs that we're counting on these hours. I think of all the marketing expenses that were currently going on right now. I think of all the food that we have ordered, thankfully have not purchased. And on that note, I said my food vendor texted me and said, "Hey, I guess you don't want all this product." I got to shout out White Feather Farms in Pataskala. They have been fantastic to us. That fortunately we are able to use that product, but they're going to hold it for us and not make us buy all that product up at front. Because I'm talking, guys, $12,000 to $15,000 worth of product, and that they purchased, and someone's getting stuck with it. And so, fortunately, White Feather Farm has been, great for us, and we're going to work things out over there. But, guys, I think of Overstock. We prepared to make 10,000 meals at the Arnold Classic. 10,000. 10,000 meals.
And so think about everything that was purchased to accommodate 10,000 meals.
Correct.
All the extra help that was being brought in to
And-
accommodate that.
And we go from 10,000
Yeah.
meals to nothing. And it's your back's up against the wall, and it's okay, now what do we do?
Yeah.
How do we adjust? And I think we come to the show here, guys, and this is one of our first takeaways, I think, is as an individual in life, things obviously are not always going to go your way. And unfortunately, things are not always going to go as planned. And as cliche as it is, there are really two things that I myself made sure to apply during this time. And one was to stay positive, okay? And two was to not panic. It's very easy to, look at our to-do list that we had, perfectly spelled out front and back of, okay, we do this. As long as we check everything off, everything's going to go smooth. Yeah, we might
Yeah.
have a hiccup here or there, but those are expected.
Yeah. And to add to that, it was that feeling too of like we were so prepared.
Right.
Like we put so much energy into being so prepared
Correct.
that you go from like feeling like even though it's going to be chaos, you go from feeling like we know what we're doing
Right.
to like what do we do next?
No answer. And that's what made it hard. So you go into how do you adjust, and how does this affect you of a feeling of, oh my gosh, like how do you plan when you don't even know what to plan for? Because there were so many unanswered questions.
Right.
And so, guys, fast forwarding real quick, Wednesday comes, and again, it was a day of my phone of individuals, local vendors, companies in Columbus calling everyone. It was literally a panic. I mean, these companies are panicking because they're like, "Oh my gosh, I have a family to feed and I have no way of doing that."
Yeah.
Or I have doors to keep open because I rely on the revenue that I make from the Arnold Classic that has been going on in Columbus for so many years. People were basing their livelihoods off this event. We are fortunate to be a pickup location for Powerhouse Gym in downtown Columbus, the official gym of the Arnold Classic. I don't need to say what their rent is a month, but it's so much money, and they do so well during their Arnold time that the money that they make during that weekend gets them through the entirety of the year. 365 days. And without that, how do you expect an owner of a gym to go home to his family and say, "Hey, our revenue that we planned on is no longer there"? And vendors that I spoke to of Subway and so many others saying, "Yeah, we make $150,000 from this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do anymore."
Right.
We're partners
Right.
with an apparel company in Columbus, and he goes, "Yeah, I just bought $20,000 worth of clothing. I don't have the money to pay this back."
Well, and it's just so unfortunate too, even for the people that were traveling out of town to come in for this event. Think about the plane expenses. I've heard rumors. I personally did not purchase a hotel room, but I've heard rumors that hotels are not refunding the money. You think of all of those things, like the money that was invested, people took time off of work. So
Mm-hmm.
right there are vacation days blown
Right.
that a lot of companies won't adjust for. And I even know the convention center, they bring in extra help, obviously, to help make this event happen.
Yeah.
And just thinking about all of those individual people who were affected by this, like
It's
it's really sad when you actually take a step back and think about it, not from a, oh man, this sucks. I can't go to the Arnold and get my free samples this year,
right.
even down to the competitors. So then they made it where it was no spectators. That was, I guess, the gist of the decision was to have the
Correct.
athletes compete with no competitors. And you even think about that. I mean, these competitors have worked so hard and they've prepped for weeks, months, possibly even years for this moment. And I can't imagine competing with no one out there in the audience.
Nobody
It's
out
a
there.
whole different vibe and
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Yeah. So Ashley kind of touched on it, kind of jumping into the emotional roller coaster that this was
Yeah.
when we found out that they canceled it. It wasn't long after that they said that all the competitors that were already in town or coming into town will go on, but no spectators. So there was
Yes.
no, right off the bat, there was no expo and no spectators.
Right.
Well, following the next day, they they allowed spectators. So hop onto the roller coaster, strap in because this is a ride.
Yeah.
They say no expo, but spectators can come.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's just talk about us again real quick because we first went from making 10,000 meals to making no meals
Because we
because it
at
was
that
canceled.
point we're told we can't even be there.
To spectators are allowed. Okay. Um,
Now we're back in.
is that 10 to 20% what we were going to make? Now it's a guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to no spectators.
And that was even followed with DeWine making the statement that anybody who did come would have legal like repercussions for being
Right.
there. So now not only is it no spectators, now it's like the law is apparently enforcing this.
Yeah. And speaking of that, when we did show up there to the convention center this weekend, um, there were hundreds, if not hundreds, of cops
Yeah.
ready for a swarm. They were expecting a swarm of people.
Well, and they were also checking. So people who were permitted to be in there either had wristbands or a badge, and
Yeah.
pretty much they were kicking people out
Yeah.
if they were not supposed to be there.
Right. Yeah. It definitely got real. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So this roller coaster ride of what do we prepare for? Are we even going? Like, when can we go? What's it going to look like?
Well, and to add to that, it was like after they'd made the decision of yes to spectators, we had then based our numbers off of that, and then
Yeah.
they changed it literally in the middle
Yeah.
of us prepping the food that we were taking.
It was. That was like later in the day.
Oh, I think we just wanted to scream.
That was almost. I was confident in how I was handling myself for a while, but that was
Mhm.
almost a breaking point of just, I guess, pure frustration. And
Well, yeah, because it's like make up your mind. And
Right.
because again, like to me, I'm just like I do not believe that the people making the decisions they were making understood fully the consequences of those.
well, they said the first decision was done in 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what that article did say.
Yeah.
That they were kind of cornered and forced to make this in 30 minutes. But then to me, even like the back and forth, it's like I don't think that they understood how going back and forth affects businesses, like
Right.
especially like us. Like
Right.
here we are. We then moved on to buy product and moved on to have our cooks in the kitchen preparing this food. And then in the midst of doing that, we're told, okay, well, no spectators
Yeah.
anymore. And it's like, well, we probably over prepared product, but at this point, we're not stopping the
It
production.
is what it is.
It's done.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, literally, our backs were up against the wall at this
Yeah.
point. And I'm telling you guys, it was a time of there were so many emotions going on, and
Mhm.
just the points leading up to this, the lack of sleep. I mean, I felt it all catching up with me.
Yeah.
But I mean, we talk about on this show as well of the individuals that you put in your lives and the individuals you put in your lives for a reason, the people that you surround yourself with. The top 5 people that who you're going to be like, and show me your friends and I'll show you your future, guys. And this was a weekend where that topic I believe was highlighted, or it needs to be highlighted because
Mhm.
for one instance, the individuals that are in our circle, and some are family members and some are just friends that I would consider family. Everyone rallied and stayed together,
Yeah.
and we truly pulled together as a team, and everyone just kept everyone's composure, everyone stayed calm. I mean, it really was cool to see. And on top of that, the support that we had from the community was beyond overwhelming. And
Mhm.
part of me didn't like it because it almost felt petty, where like people felt sorry for us in a sense that, oh my gosh, like visionary meals, like clearly our marketing was working because everyone knew we were at this
It's true.
this going to be at this expo. And I mean, both of our phones were blowing up like, hey, can we buy meals off you? Like, we just,
Yeah.
so many people I believe felt bad for us.
They
Yeah.
did. Like for me, it was really neat. I actually on Thursday night had to go to a work event. And I mean, I was around a lot of people that I really don't talk to regularly about visionary meals, and I know them more professionally through my other job. And to me, like I was just blown away. I probably had over 30 people at this event come up to me and just express how sorry they were and telling me that they're praying for us and that we're going to get through this, and if there's anything that they can do to help to let them know. And
Right.
I mean, you do walk away from something like that just feeling like, wow, we really are so blessed
Yeah.
to have this community of people. And we're so blessed that we have so many people who, through the midst of this craziness, we know that they're praying for us.
For sure.
And I feel like we felt those
No
prayers.
doubt.
I mean,
Yeah,
it,
guys.
it helped.
And speaking of prayer, guys, and I think a lot of our listeners know that this is a faith-based show, and if you are not a faith-based individual, that is totally okay. All are welcome, and we just hope to have at least offer our love and positive impact on your life, even if it isn't through what a lot of individuals call faith. But that being uh, during this time
Mhm.
when we found out about this cancellation, one of the first things Ashley and I did was just go into prayer and give it to God. And when you say that, we felt those prayers, even though I was, I almost wanted to punch everyone that says, oh, God's got a plan. We'll just trust his plan, this and that. You know, at that time, even in the midst of almost panic, it felt like, we just truly believed
Mhm.
and still do believe God's got a plan from all of this.
Mhm.
And it's tough to say because all this can happen, and we both, and we're going to talk about real quick what the actual Arnold looked like. Not
Yeah.
what we expected, obviously, but we both walked away from this whole thing driving home late Saturday night and just talking about like, man, like, have you seen where God has blessed this experience? And I think a lot of things do go unseen, and I think that's okay.
Mhm.
But you deal with naturally, just in anything in life, you deal with things that are a blessing, but you don't always see it.
I think that's one of the hardest things about faith, and I think it's something that you see people really get hung up on often. And unfortunately, there isn't a lot that you can say because there are so many things where there just isn't an answer.
Yeah,
And you have to like accept the fact that you might not see the answer. And it's that trust that you have to have. And that can be really hard.
it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard. So, guys, moving forward, because um, the whole purpose of this show was to obviously just share with you our experience, and I think kind of worked out in a way with even though Mark's on a cruise ship right now, it worked out in a way that Ashley and I got to come on here and share this experience with you, and as we progress towards the end of the show, we do want to share some of the positives
Yeah.
of the Arnold as this chaos continued, and sitting here, I definitely wouldn't say it was all positive. So we get there, Friday. We get there, no, Thursday. No, Friday. We get
Friday.
there Friday. We prepped all day Thursday. We get there Friday.
Yeah.
And, again, still kind of showing up to we don't really know.
Yeah.
And so we show up, and again, we're in one of the main concession stands to sell meals. And everything, it was just different, especially being to
Well,
the Arnold as much as I've been.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If anyone has been to the Arnold, it was like the weirdest feeling. We
Yeah,
walked into that room, and that room that we walked into first was where the expo goes on, correct?
correct.
We walked into that room, and I'm not kidding. It was empty, and if there were things in there, it was the pallets that people were sending their shipments in from that were being
Right.
sent
Sent
back.
back. Yeah. Yeah. So we walk in there and again unsure. So um, it was instead of customers coming to us, it was us going to customers.
Yes, we
Eh,
were located in front of American Ninja Warrior,
Heck yeah, turn
and
up.
I'm like now a huge fan. I had a great time watching those
Yeah.
competitors. It was
Yeah.
actually really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta say, I got into it.
Yeah, I'm glad you were entertained because I was so annoyed. That announcer was so annoying. But
Yes.
definitely got to shout out, Stephen Carpenter that works in our logistics department. He's the individual that is going to get meals to you guys nationwide. Him and his fiance Lauren, they were with us this whole weekend and they did an amazing job. And guys, really, what this weekend looked like, as I sit here right this second trying to dig out some positives, I'll be completely honest with you. It's hard.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of takeaways from this of not everything you see on social media and not everything you hear from individuals about a company or a product, especially from these small businesses, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And this weekend punched us in the mouth time and time and time and time again.
Hmm.
And it's honestly hard right this second. I'll be completely honest to leave you guys on a note of this is what we did. Here's the happy ending, and ta-da! Like it's not necessarily the case. When I say we went around and did everything we did to bring individuals to our location of where we're selling meals, I mean, we did everything that I hate about sales and that's being pushy. I mean, I like to think it was more information wise of hey, this is where we're at, but
Hmm.
I mean, we were walking around with signs that say Visionary Meals, like over here, basically, and just going up to people saying, "Hey, if you guys are hungry, we just want to let you know Visionary Meals is over here."
Hmm.
And I just share that because A, that was not what anybody expected.
No.
Um, but B, guys, when you prepare for something and things don't go the way I guess you hoped them to go, it's easy to fold the tent up and go home. Um, or you can, like I said, rally the troops, get your team together, and do whatever you can to make the best situation or the best circumstances with the situation at hand.
Hmm.
And we did that. And confidently will say to this day, right this second, that walking away from the Arnold Classic of 2020, we did everything that we could do.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good feeling given the situation. I mean, at least we know that we did control what we could
Mhm.
control.
And
And I think we have an amazing team and we all showed up 100%.
we did. So we prepared about 10% of what we were going to sell. And, I sit here and again, in complete honesty, we sold probably 7% of that 10%. and and it was just again not what anybody wanted or not what anybody expected.
No.
Um, but guys, I'm almost at a loss for words right now of the emotions that I think we're feeling and kind of
Mhm.
what we've gone through. Um, but the moral of the story, guys, is this stuff happens in life. This stuff happens in business, and the people that you surround yourself with, the individuals that you put in your corner, um, when this panic time of panic does happen, you got to remember whoever is in your corner, those are the people you're going to have to turn to.
That's a good point, and I think a perspective that you probably have not thought of it from, and one that you probably wouldn't think of it from because I know you, is that one lesson you might be able to take away from it is that God does equip you when
Mhm.
a situation happens. And you are very much someone who likes to be in control of everything. So
For sure.
watching you respond to something that you didn't have control over, from my perspective, was really cool because you handled it so well. You handled it with calmness, you handled it respectfully, and you did a great job leading your team. So I do have to say that.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, I mean, and obviously none of this would have been done without obviously like I said, the individuals in our corner like yourself. So, no, I do appreciate that. And this, like she said, this was hard because um, for once in my life there was a time where I just did not feel like I had the answer,
Hmm.
and just having that confidence, being able to turn to everyone in the circle, like, hey, here's this question, and I have an idea maybe. I don't know if it's the answer, and just trusting that individuals could step up either with initiative, with an answer, or steps of action to put into place to make it the best potential possibilities, that we could have had, with the situation at hand. So, um, guys, that's kind of really all we had for you, and um, like I said, it's support your small businesses,
Yes.
whoever it is, because it's things like this that these businesses take a hit, and I'm not just saying that to say come support Visionary. No, support all of your small businesses, guys. Um, it's so important that that happens, and a lot of them depend on their local support of
Yeah.
individuals that they, I guess, are used to getting support from. Um, but as we conclude the show, like I said, I should have known that I was gonna go over because we're at 42 minutes. Yeah, sweet, good job, Josh. Oh, I knew that was gonna happen. I'm like just as bad as Mark. Mark's definitely worse though. You hear that, Mark? You're definitely
Oh,
worse.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, guys, the question of the day is: does the Arnold Classic leave Columbus? So that is the rumor right now.
Mm,
Does the Arnold Classic leave Columbus? Does a $60 million revenue stream just disappear like that um, from this so-called coronavirus that we never really even talked about right now on this show? Um, how real it is, how dramatized it is, how the media
mhm.
has just drowned out any common sense, any logical way of thinking. It's too bad. And this
Yeah.
wasn't this show, this particular show, this episode was not going to be designed about the coronavirus, but more so the Arnold Classic. So that is why we didn't get into it. Um, but it's too bad what's going on for those listening and are panicking about the corona. At least as of now, on March 8th at 11 o'clock at night, uh, you don't need to be panicking about the coronavirus.
Well, and just a side note on that, like to me, it's really disappointing and sad to see that the media is allowed to create this much public fear. To
Hmm.
me, that's a crime
Yeah, it's
to make
wrong.
people this afraid.
Let them know.
I'll let them know.
Let them know. I
Rant
agree.
is over, but it's very
Yeah,
frustrating to me.
it is. It is, guys. So that's it. Guys, deliberately linked. Someone call Mark and tell him to bring home some
Well, let's
sunshine.
hope he, gets home and doesn't get quarantined in the middle of the
That's a
ocean.
good point.
To be
That
continued, I
might,
guess.
yeah, this might be the end of Mark, and we might see more Ashley because Mark's stuck on a cruise ship? Question mark. I don't know
Oh
yet.
boy.
So no, very good, guys. No, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Life's gonna throw curveballs at you. You're gonna keep getting hit in the face. Keep swinging. Keep grinding. Us as a company, we will bounce back from this.
Mm.
We will continue to grow from this. We will learn from this. We will excel from this. We will shine from this. But you know, this is life, and some things happen completely out of your control. Um, it's just about preparing yourself the times leading up to things like this happening. even if they are completely out of ordinary or not anticipated at all. So, Ashley, what'd you think of your very first podcast ever?
A little stressful,
A little stressful.
but we did it.
We did it. Good job. I'm proud of
No,
you.
thank you for having me on.
Yeah. I apologize if I took over the show, but I
No.
knew this was a stressful time for you.
No,
So,
it was good. It was good, I think, to kind of talk through the series of events that consumed our week.
yeah, even though you and I are like both running on like just a few hours of sleep, I feel like for the
Yes.
past like 3 days.
Yes.
Definitely tired, but you know what? It had to be done. This had to be done, and I wanted everyone to at least hear about this experience, even though like it with it being fresh in our mind, even though our minds I feel like are
Yes.
just
They get the real version.
that's
This
it.
is us.
This is us raw. So, guys, keep grinding, keep hustling, never give up, keep chasing those dreams, and Deliberately Linked. We are always here for you. So, with that being said, Deliberately Linked. Sign.